Good morning. And a little bit late to say good morning, but it's still in the morning, right? And how are you here? Are you still here? Yeah, not at home, not about your lunch now. Okay, so first of all, I would like to show my respect to all venerable, all lecturer, especially respected Dean. And now it is my turn to go through the last part. But I hope that this part will is still some part that really important for your teaching practice. It's just your result. Along the way, you can say it's concluded in this one. Okay, maybe you feel a little bit boring right now. Okay, I just want to lead and guide. I want to do one short activity before we just move to my short presentation. Okay, have you ever heard about wonderful club or club? Not club, club. Okay, have you ever heard about this one? Yeah. Okay, so I will stand here and let me just do it together. And I hope that this short activity will help you to do it in your teaching as well. Whenever you notice your student feel bored, you can start to do it. So while you do it, you need to count it loud. And when you show your wonderful thing, you also need to speak it in loud way as well. Okay, so I will demonstrate it for you and then we can try to do it together. Alright? Yeah. Okay, so in order to do wonderful clap, the first one you need to clap your hand like 1. You also count, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Okay, so you got it now, right? Can you stand up together and let me do this one? Okay, whenever is fine. If you want to or you don't want to, it's fine. Are you ready? Yes. Yes. So let's just start. Clap your hand. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we hope that this thing will refresh the student feeling. Okay, especially the late session is normally the boring session. Alright? Okay, so thank you for this. And so we can say some part in teaching, we normally start with the warming up activity. Some part you did not plan, but you also need to use some activity to attract your student feeling. Alright? Since you are not going to teach the book, but teach your student. If your student feeling is not in the class, your lesson will not be successful in here. Alright? Your objective, lesson objective cannot be reached even though you use action word, but your student did not work. How can your lesson objective achieve at the end of this one? Alright? Okay, so just link and my part in here. Section number 5, like Mr. Lodlip just mentioned at the very beginning of the session of this orientation workshop, that there are 5 chapters or 5 sections in here. So section 5, it just focuses on reflection paper. Have you ever written reflection paper before? Yes, 1, 2. The other no, 3. Okay, reflection is really important actually, right? So let me just go. So in here, you may come up with the big question or concern in here. How can I write it? How can I get the idea or information to include in my reflection paper? True or not? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so in this part, it will briefly review regarding to the information or data collection for your writing. In this part, you no need to read and cite a lot, but you need to take note a lot rather than to go and just write down only your practical experience that you're going to do in here. So the information, it can be gathered from the lesson plan. So it can be from your own lesson plan. It can be from your group member lesson plan. So whenever you go and teach, just ask your member for a piece of lesson plan while you are observe them. You need to take that lesson plan to see that whether they have done from step to step well or not, whether they have linked from one activity to the other activity well or not. This is really important. So whenever you go and teach, please make a copy. Lesson plan for at least 10 copies of that to result that the people from other group may come to observe your class. So whenever they come in, just give them one copy of your lesson plan and then they can write something, right? And the other part, we still have, we can say like get the information from the lesson plan and include it into the observation records. So whenever you go to the class and sit at the back of the class and observe your classmate or the teacher trainee in here, don't bring your notebook to take note, but just copy this one from Mr. Ravi's session, that observation record. Since in that paper, we just have the question, a list of questions that you can answer there. Don't you bring your notebook to take note, it will be useless there. And I experienced some teacher training when they just go and observe, they just go and draw the picture. And whenever the time to write a journal or reflection paper, they have nothing to write. So avoiding from that case happen, just use this observation record. So you must copy it, maybe 20 copies. Whenever you should go to class, you should have your observation record, to write down the strong point or point to be improved a training there. Alright? And you can shoot down those ideas, those information from the teaching observation record to training journals. Meaning Mr. Kunti's section, that you also need to write a journal of a trainees, including you yourself as well. Alright? Write about your group member. For example, if you have 5 members, you need to write 4 of your members and including 1 for yourself. We can say about yourself, no need to use this observation record, but you can use your own lesson plan to reflect what are the steps that you have done it well, what are the steps that you did not do it well and why. Just tell why. Why the lesson stage just failed, for example. Alright? And after that you just get the idea to write in this, and some or all of the ideas in training journal in section 4, you also can show it into the reflection paper, that the last part. It will cover all of your teaching practicum in here. Alright? So, recording and take a note every stage of that part. And fold your document well, and then you can do it well as well at the end. It's not so, you will be messy and clumsy, and you have nothing to do with as well. Okay, so just briefly review on this. So in here we can say in section 5, we just have the other 5 subsections, alright? That which have introduction. The second one which I have lesson plan. The third one about classroom management. And number 4 just focus on methodology. And the last number 5 which is about conclusion. Takes it up, it's just the other way. Okay, so check number 1 to number 5, which are the subtitle of the reflection paper again. Okay, let's just go and see it briefly. So in introduction section, the first one you better briefly describe each subject or major that you have learned in the first semester as well as in the second semester. So it's part of go and read there, but you just describe, for example, what teaching methodology subject has taught you both in the first semester and the second semester there. Your own opinion, your own writing. No need to quote, no need to do something here, but just write. So what are the things that you have learned in a subject in here? Maybe a line or even 2 lines that describe about a subject in here. This is, we can say this one, it just can be the first paragraph, and the second paragraph in that part, you can start with teaching practice or practicum and its objectives. So you can say, okay, the first semester we have a chance to learn about 5 different subjects, for example, alright? You can describe it all. And in the second semester, we still study the other 4 subjects, including one special thing about teaching practice or practicum. And the objective of this teaching practice and practicum are, you can list down. Alright? Okay, so this is just briefly idea regarding to how to write the introduction of your reflection paper. Okay, so move to the second subsection of this one, lesson plan. Are you good at doing this one now? Yes or no? Yes. Clear or clean? Clean. Yeah? Clean. Clean, right? And some clean. Okay, just let's go. So you can answer to all these questions that may guide you, like how well do you understand about the lesson plan? For example, when you study in teaching methodology subject, when your teacher or lecturer try to explain you, some of you may say, oh, I know it all. Some may, I'm not sure, or I don't care. Alright? But as a result in here, you will experience something. Okay? The one who declare that you know it well, you may get stuck. Oh, what are the teaching methods? What are the teaching techniques? For example, and then you can include those things into this part about your own experience. Alright? So something in here, what have you learned from the coursework and so far? And the second part, you need to answer to this question, how well do you improve in planning the lesson? Okay, you may feel that you are good at planning the lesson, but when you start doing it, you may face the problem. So just tell the examiner or the audience that read your paper, after you face the problem, and how can you solve it? Okay, maybe you can improve it by discussing with your group member, discussing it with or consult with your supervisor, and so on. For example, this is the one way that you can write. Okay, so let's go to section number 3, just about classroom management. Are you good at classroom management? Good at it? No. Yes? No. You are different from me, right? I am good at classroom management, but not good at student management. Yeah? I can manage the class well, but not the student. Just kidding, right? Okay, so this part you can... We can say as a new teacher, you may face a lot of problems. It may face with the handwriting. Sometimes, we can say most of you may not experience to write on a whiteboard. So when you come and write, maybe your handwriting very, very small to see. Alright? So you can start describe about those things. About table or chair arrangement, it can be one way. Okay. So that part that you just see, or even the voice. Some teacher may have soft voice, like Mr. Ravi mentioned. Maybe your soft voice like no bird or something. So the student cannot hear. We can say the power we put on the teacher in the voice. If your voice projection cannot work well, you cannot attract your student in here. So whenever you learn that you yourself have a soft voice, maybe you can come here and borrow the speaker to have. Alright? It's just one way. So you can describe regarding to this one, and the other part about, it might be about the time management. Okay? Sometimes you have for 1 hour to teach, but when you just go and teach, you just spend only 20 minutes. The rest you don't know what to do. Okay, what will you do if your lesson just finished earlier, for example? You will ask your student to sing a song? Or being a good teacher, you better have the other anticipate planning. Okay, when the thing went wrong, I may have something else, for example, right? So, but it's fine, you just write down and describe about those things. You may raise up with your good point, your difficulty or point to be improved, and solution. This is what we need to do. What are the challenges that you face? And what are the solutions that you can use and solve this one that we want to hear about your group experience, alright? No need to go and read the book and quote the problem from the book, but just start writing about your real problem in the class meeting. You got what I mean? Write about yourself, write about your group member. No need to write something in the book in here. Okay, regarding to section number 4, it's just about teaching methodology. So this part you need to write and reflect regarding to the teaching method that you have used in your teaching practice. What are the teaching methods that your group member use? Not in the book in here. Okay? We just want to hear about what you have applied it. And how many teaching methods are there? Yes? Have you ever noticed this one in teaching methodology subject? How many teaching methods are there? Only this or something else? Have you ever heard about CTL? Yeah? Or CLT? or GTM? Have you ever heard about this one? Yes? How many people just heard this one? Wow. Okay, so this is the big problem you should not know. Okay, so about communicative language teaching, it's just one teaching method that you can apply. But what that you have used it in the real practice? Alright, just write down it. What are the difficulties? Okay, this part we also need the good point to be improved, and your solution regarding to those teaching method. Alright? So if you know it or you don't know it, just go and check it. What are the teaching methods for teaching? Alright? Just go and check it. Maybe your lecturer just teach you, but you care nothing, carefree, and then you got nothing now. So be careful with this. Okay, last but not least, about conclusion. So in your conclusion part, okay, you better answer to the question, do you achieve the practicum or teaching practice objectives? Okay, like in Mr. Subhat speech, he also included with the main aim. So aim or objective of the teaching practice, whether you have achieved it or not. In our practicum guideline, we also included in this one. So among the three, how many percentage that you have achieved it so far? And the other percentages that fail, why? Why does it fail? Just explain there, right? The second part, you better reflect or conclude regarding to what you have learned from the teaching practice of Practicum. That's really important. Okay, some of you may reflect when during the coursework, I did not understand about the teacher feeling. But when I become the student, the teacher trainee in here, I start to learn it well. How hard is the teacher or the lecturer in here, right? So, being a teacher or lecturer, you work harder or more hours than being paid. You can see. So, work in a class at night, maybe keep planning the lesson at home, for example. Is it true? Yes. Yeah. Really, the teacher or lecturer work really hard in here. Okay, so you can explain regarding to that part. And one last but not least, just about your suggestion or recommendation. How do you feel? Or what are your opinion regarding to this teaching practice of Practicum? Okay, you can comment to the university management team, to the dean, to the lecturer or supervisor or the next generation student. What should they do or what would they prepare for? They are well practiced here. Alright? Okay, note, we can say, since this part which have 5 different subsections, we can say each section you better separate it into different paragraphs. I hope that we will not see the 5 pages paragraph in your reflection paper. Alright? So, exception, we can say, if possible, like this part, it may have at least 3 different paragraphs in here. Alright? 3 different paragraphs, it might be much better. Okay? Should not write everything together in here. And you can put this subtitle with the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same. Alright? You got it or not? Yes? Maybe yes, I suppose. Okay, and the other part, we can say it is included with the appendage. That it can be about your memorandum, the agreement between you and the university signed by the dean in here, right? So you can insert it at the end of your Practicum portfolio in here. So we just have the appendix section there. Okay, and number 2, it can be about your photo, your group photo, but remember to put the nice photo, right? Should not add the KTV photo something. Okay, just put it with the teaching activity. It might be more professional in here, right? Okay, and here about your memorandum between you and the university. Okay, as it is signed and stamped, you can scan it and set it at the back of your portfolio here, right? Okay, here for the example, the classroom activity. Okay, handsome. And in here about page setup, actually in that folder, we have set it up for you already regarding to this kind of page like 2. Okay, at the top just 2, the bottom 2, at the left side it's just 3.5, and the right side just 1.5 in here. So if possible, should not try to change it. But in case that you are confusing to touch and navigate it or some way, just go and recheck it and reset it back to this one. Alright? And the paper, you can see in Microsoft Word, we just have letter, we have A3, A4 something, but our format, we just use A4. If you change it to letters, it will change the margin as well. Alright? So do not touch with the paste up if possible. Sometimes we can say in Microsoft Word it's just simple but really headache as well to solve it. Be careful, right? Okay, and about header and footer, which I use 1.27 centimeters. We have already set it as well. Okay, so, but in case that you are confusing, you can recheck it. Okay, so that's it for my presentation. I hope that it will be clear, not clean. And when you got home, you will be happy. Thank you. Good luck with this one.